In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the new Bravia 8, that's their 4K OLED television, with the Bravia Theater Bar 8 that goes with that television. All of it happens within a couple of apps, both the Google Home app and the Bravia app. So we're going to go ahead and show you the step-by-step, so just so you're familiar with what it takes to get this up and running. So without further ado, let's go on and finish this how-to video. Now the Bravia 8 does use Google TV, so you're going to need a Google account and the Google Home app. I'm just going to speed through all this because you just got to follow the instructions. Once you get the Google Home app installed, connect it to your Google account, and you should be up and running shortly. You could also use your Google Photos as a background with it, so there's a lot of advantages of hooking it up. Here's how it sounds. Little bit of a teaser there to get you up and excited about your new Bravia television. You're gonna have to go through other steps inside the Bravia experience. A lot of consenting you have to do, all that legal mumbo jumbo, this user license agreement. I love how they say at the end, I have read and I agree to these agreements. Like anybody's gonna actually read that, but I'm gonna go ahead and agree to that because I want to get through. Of course, now you have the privacy policy. Again, unless you're a lawyer who has no life, you're probably not going to read that. You just want to get right to your television. Asks about voice recognition if you want that enabled. That is a feature, especially if you want to search on something like YouTube. Power saving options as well if you are interested in that, because if you use it, it won't get as bright. Then it asks how you want to receive the channels. Now, if you have a cable box or if you are just streaming, you can select it, or maybe both. In this case, I don't even have cable, so I'm just going to cancel all that because I'm going to get everything through streaming. So it's pretty simple to get through this. Now, interesting, I have the Theater Bar 8 already connected and it recognized it right away. And so I'm just going to go in there and it shows, and it even told me the HDMI port that I connected it with. And then it asks if you want to use it with the system. What you can do is you could connect the Theater Bar 8 and use the Bravia 8 as the center speaker. So that's really good because they got that acoustic audio plus, where the actual screen is the speaker. The sound is coming from behind the screen. So you definitely want to have that as a center speaker if you have the Theater Bar. Here you just got to do all the registration. Now, for the Theater Bar, you have to download the Bravia app to continue it. The first thing it's going to do is download like an update package. And it's really interesting to see how Sony works with apps, because we're talking about one of the biggest brands out there and they know a thing or two about home audio. I was really impressed with the Bravia app and the setup, just the instructions and getting it all connected, how it's checking the HDMI, because everything's inside that Bravia ecosystem. It just works. Now it's going to ask about this acoustic center sync. That's what I was talking about, how the center speaker now will be the actual screen of the Bravia 8. It asked if you could hear sounds. I could hear sounds, so you just have to go through that inside of the app. Here's where it starts to get really interesting. It is now connecting the network bar, or the sound bar to your network, and you go all through all that. So I'm just going to speed through that because I had to give my Wi-Fi password. The network settings are complete, and it gets really, really interesting at this point once you proceed. You can, of course, name the device. I'm just going to call it the Bravia Theater Bar 8 because that's exactly what it is. It asks if you have rear speakers. I don't in this case, but what I do have is a subwoofer, and that's the SW3, the 200 watt subwoofer from Sony. Look at that. It was like the easiest connection, all because it's in that Bravia ecosystem. Everything is pretty easy. There is some software updates that have to happen for the devices, and you just have to wait for that to go through. The Bravia app really makes it super user-friendly when it comes to setting this up. And of course, because it's in that Bravia ecosystem, everything just seems to work. Here's the interesting part. Optimize your surround sound. So even though you don't have a 5.1 traditional system, you have that sound bar in the sub, look what it's doing. It says sit exactly where you're going to watch, television, and it's going to pretty much try to tune everything into that space. And the way that it does it is pretty fascinating, because what it's going to ask you to do is use the microphone inside of your smartphone, and it uses that mic to kind of figure out the acoustics of your living space and see how it says measure the speaker position. It's playing different types of sound and it's measuring it. From that, it's going to be able to use, I guess, algorithms and lots of math about the reflections of the sound, because you have to remember the Bravia 8 Theater Bar, the Theater Bar 8, has 11 speakers, side-facing speakers, up-facing speakers, and here it is. It's using the microphone inside of my phone right now, and it even tells you take the case off to get a better sound from the mic. You want to really have it in a silent area while you're doing this optimization for your room and with the Theater Bar 8. And I think that's a really clever thing that they did, is to give you that step-by-step. And you look at this, it even says rotate it. So here I am rotating it to exactly what it wants, and it's using that mic again to listen to the acoustics of the room as it plays sound. And it even gives you instruction. Now we want you to move it vertically, and look, I am screen recording this, so that's why everything is backwards now, because I've actually moved and followed the instructions, and it plays all these different types of sounds. And it's kind of weird, but you can see that they are trying to do a lot of math in the background to make those measurements. And then from there, what they're saying is it can actually replicate a kind of a surround sound system using the reflections and the acoustics of your room to do that. And that's why you have that customization here, where they're trying to figure out the ideal surround sound based upon the Theater Bar 8. So again, it's still making all these measurements, kind of fun to do, but it is in that one ideal spot. So if you do have that spot where you like to watch TV, you're going to optimize the surround sound for that specific area, again, with the acoustics, and it allows you to kind of play back something so that you can hear the exact sound, and it even gives you this kind of foresty background as it plays that. And I'm telling you, this 360 spatial sound mapping is pretty cool. I would have loved to try it in different types of rooms to see if you could hear the difference, but I think it really worked. Like, it sounds fantastic in my living room where I had set this up. But if I was to move it to another room, of course, you would want to redo that to make sure you got the right optimizations. After that, like, look how simple it is. Now you can actually control everything within the Bravia Connect app on your phone. So if you want to change the volume, you want to go into night mode, you want the voice mode, which will actually just take the vocals, the vocal dialogue, make it easier to hear, or you can turn it off and hear the backgrounds, all of that. So here's just a little sample of what it sounds like.
Bible gun front.
So I don't know how well you could hear it, but trust me, I was there. It sounded great. If you are interested in this television, you got to check out my full review. I take it into my Airbnb suite and really put it to the test. I crank it up, so you'll want to watch that review. This was more of just to kind of give you the basics of how to set it up. Super easy. All happens within that Bravia ecosystem. I'm Andy Baryer, Handy Andy, signing out. See you again next time.